but I physically can't figure that
Yeah,
shit out
I
on
can't
a
move that gold.
like on a massive scale. But I got these burly people
Yo,
here that's ready
facts.
to put in work. Cool, I'm gonna just put them to work. That's how anything great ends up
Mm-hmm.
being a thing. You got a community behind it, and Senku one of them people that understands that.
Hey,
Bro.
we're just gonna jump in because we've been reporting. So,
Oh
hey,
shit!
so I got a question, right? So I'm doing my research for show, and I came across something real interesting. Real interesting. Do you stand by this statement?
I'm scared.
Boruto has entered the conversation for best written protagonist in anime history. We are
Why
AOT.
you?
Aaron just got found out. Aaron just got found out that he's a Titan. We putting you on the spot. Do you stand by this statement?
I do. I
Crazy
do.
work.
I do. You got to understand the complexity of the. I know that Boruto has been a hiccup for anime fans
Hiccup?
and manga fans. Word, bro, it makes you do that when you read it, don't it? Like, oh my god, I don't think I want to consume this no more. But you get to a point where all the issues that were made gets covered up with really good plot. When you get to Two Blue Vortex, bro, I promise you, it's like a flip. Everything before seems so childish, and it's now it's been used, and I know that wasn't on purpose, right? That was because it was switching manga artists, switching writers and authors, a lot of like last minute changes because who's the manga artist again? What's his name? Kishimoto?
Yeah, Kishimoto.
Yeah. So because Kishimoto didn't want to be involved with it at that point, bro. When he decided, yo, y'all are messing my shit up right now. I need to step in real quick and handle this. I'm telling you, it's been a completely 360 of the storytelling. I watched. Again, I'm not a manga reader usually.
Mm-hmm.
I'll read it if it's no way I can watch it. Where Dragon Ball Super, I read that because I got to the end of where the Tournament of Power was, and I was
Mm-hmm.
so much on a Gohan high. I needed to know if they continued to set
Mm-hmm.
my boy up to be good. Unfortunately, they did subpar with that, but I do it with anything that I get harassed with
Mm-hmm.
on manga because I have clients that be like, "Yo, bro, you gotta check this out." I have friends that's, "Bro, you gotta check this out." So when I watched Boruto all the way to the end, the very last
Wow.
like 3 episodes, yeah, I hated it, bro. I picked it up, dropped it, picked it up, dropped it, and I only watched it because I'm a Naruto fan. But I got to the end, and the setup at the end was almost as if they were like, "Hey, we fucked up." So can I say that?
They
Okay,
fucked
all
up.
right.
It's true.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm not true to this. I'm new to this, so you gotta give me a little bit. Let me get used to it.
Mm-hmm.
But damn, Dr. Seuss. But so I watched it and I y'all know Yak, right? Y'all know Yak, Vaughn, BD. I
Mm-hmm.
was talking to them and was like, bro, this shit is garbage. It's no way. Bro, we get to the Momoshiki takeover kind of stuff that's going on at the tail end of the anime,
Mm-hmm.
and that shit flips the switch. You start to feel like it's OG Naruto. They showing you they went from getting away from showing hand signs, close combat. They went away from all this extra shit that's like the root of Naruto, and
mm,
they circled the story back to throwing that right back in there. Right now, where they're at, and I'm sorry about spoilers, everybody, but
Spoiler warning.
right, yeah, word, right? Right now where they're at, it's like all these crazy gods and shit that's coming through and fucking with Konoha, and the only person who can rumble with them is the only one still using all the hand signs and all the extra shit that all the ninjas was doing. Everybody else doing the cheat code stuff.
The science.
Yeah, Kawaki has
Karma.
the karma connection, and he's fucking being like
A bitch.
he's like not even he's just being lackadaisical with it. You know what I mean? Like lazy. He's like, man, I'm the top dog. I can do whatever I want. This man Boruto out here in these trenches training with Sasuke the whole time, and all this wild shit happens, and they kind of clean up all the stuff with Karama being lost
is he more?
and
They retconned it.
But it's always been a thing though.
Bro, the whole
It's
thing of
always been a
Baryon
thing.
mode is that he's supposed to be gone. Dunzo. Finito.
I understand. However, when Gara lost Shikaku, he still came back, right?
Yeah, but that's different because he gets reincarnated and he should not be. No, he would. But the whole thing is the
Who's making these
Jinchuriki.
rules?
They're supposed to come back naturally into the cycle. Why is he going back into Naruto's daughter? His whole essence should be gone.
I think
Who else has enough chakra to sustain a Jinchuriki in Konoha right now, bro? Nobody training.
So then,
They
how did
can't-
daughter get it?
Because she's training, bro. She was like, oh, big bro is doing his thing. I need to also be doing my thing, bro. His kids is going wild right now. Nobody else is doing shit.
Nah, his kids is going wild, but like, that shit crazy. You can't lie, that shit now crazy.
So it is a lot of convolutedness, right?
Mhm.
It is. But you got to understand that if you take a failing story and you try to bring it back,
There's
and
gonna be
you
a lot
at
of
least...
stuff.
Yeah, and if you at least get it to a B plus, you're doing the SS class job, because going from an F, where Boruto was at some point an F,
Mhm.
right, and bringing it back full circle this far. If y'all want to just like dive into the first few chapters, there's a couple people on YouTube that do like voiceovers of it, and they just explain the whole thing and show
Mhm.
you all the manga panels and stuff. Just dive into the story of it, because if they animate it correctly, it could be one of the biggest turnaround stories of protagonists in anime history. Boruto,
It's getting a remake.
yeah, Boruto. The way that Naruto's story was told was, it's the classic shonen. You got the boy who
Mhm.
has nothing because his father sacrificed everything.
Mhm.
Everyone or his grandfather in Itadori's case, right?
Mhm.
But there's a sacrifice that happens, and this child is now alone. He has to become a man by himself.
Mhm.
Classic shonen trope, right? Deku, Boruto, Naruto, Itadori. You got even Gohan. If you look at original DBZ, Goku was out saving the world. Gohan was with Piccolo, bro.
With his real dad.
With the
Chill out. But that is the way that shonens was told by that. Most shonens then, when they go into their Shippuden stage or their next level stage, you watch them grow and get to the point where they become OP. Everything's focused on them. Boruto followed the same trope, but what it was supposed to do was show a kid that had everything, the opposite. And then it's just flames around him, dog. That's just crazy.
He's a black Inumaki?
Yeah.
Wow. I think I gotta catch the Fire Force.
He's in the first season, ain't he?
Nah, he's not.
No. Second season. Yeah. I think he's a little bit in the first season, if I remember. I ain't watching it in a minute, but I think they probably got like, nah, he's not. Because the only evangelist that you see that early is what's her name? With the crown. It's like Hanuma or
I don't
whatever.
know.
Let's start with the H.
I'll watch that H in a minute.
Word. The crown drawn. That's the only one you see in Arrow and.
Isn't his brother an evangelist?
Yeah, his brother like the main one. Fire Force really
He's
don't make
with
sense.
With the Dio power. Bro got the world.
So do y'all know how them powers fucking work?
Yeah, I know how his works. It's like he stops the expansion of the universe, and then
how though? Because it's about fire.
Shit. Because the whole thing is like heat's going away when the universe is expanding. Eventually, one day there will be no heat. So I guess he's stopping that and controlling it or some shit. Because cold is, I don't know.
Yeah, it's stupid, but it makes sense, bro. It's some scientific shit.
Yeah, like if I had like a scientist in front of me, he'd probably break it down like, yeah, thermodynamics, heat expansion, and he can control that. So that's why I'm like, okay.
So that's one of the things that makes me into some animes, because if they can throw little facts in there and I can Google it and that shit's true, I'm here to stay, bro. I need to know how you know this. Thank you. I need to know why y'all niggas know this information.
Mm-hmm.
Cause y'all are mangakas, bro. Y'all spent that extra time of your life to figure out science to a T to write a story about it.
No, true. That's
Nigga
why I
from like
respect people who can
old
write smart
school.
characters, because a smart character is as smart as you can make them.
Mm-hmm.
They're literally limited to you.
You have to
So
be smart.
it literally, it's like making niggas like Senku. You were in the lab. You were in the classroom.
How he know how to make light bulbs and shit,
Yo, bro, hit up Edison, Nicholas
bro?
Tesla. Like, bro,
This this man, yo, if he come out with a book, a survival book, I'm buying it.
no,
Like
actually,
just not
no,
even
just
a
read Doctor
manga.
Stone.
Just
That's
like,
your survival book.
yeah, I know, but it's too much. I watched Doctor Stone. I love it, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy that it's also so short of a storytelling because we're like in the manga's done, right?
Yeah, I literally cracked after. It was before when they were going to season 3 when the necklace, the thing, made the message like, yo, sent the message something about. I was like, I'm reading the manga. The manga, by the way, top 5 drawn. Boichi is a goat. He's up there with Murata. Probably he's in the top 5 with Murata, bro. Like he's really really good. Like the art's fucking amazing.
I think as of recent stuff, Doctor Stone is probably one of my favorite like unique character designs too because everyone on there
Everybody has a great
looks
design.
very bro, and it's crazy because they still add all the fucking scars
Mm-hmm.
from the petrification, and everybody got like the ropes and stuff in different stylistic ways. Anything that does that one little nuance, and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna give you a little swag with that, a little uniform, but a little swag. I'm here for,
bro,
bro.
bro. Like, and also, I just love the way like Senku, he's the top honcho, but his guys, they're nothing to slouch out. I like how everybody has like their own unique ability. That's also my favorite thing.
Real
Like,
chess players don't move the king, bro. You got all these people around that can do great things,
mm-hmm,
man. If you're a real strategist, you know that you can't handle everything by yourself. You're gonna appoint people for that,
mm-hmm.
and that's gonna be
Oh,
like, all
speaking
right,
life,
cool.
bro. Yeah, you can speak your life.
And
No,
listen,
that's true.
I could have lived in a box my whole life and watched anime, and I'll still be the same person.
No, literally.
These lessons come all from anime, bro. But honestly speaking, like you can section off all your thought processes into different people, and you can still be the thinker. Like, yeah, I
Mm-hmm,
know I need, like Senku's like, yeah, I know I need light bulbs, so I know I gotta turn this metal into the filament for it. So Baruto was taking ninjutsu for granted. He was
mm-hmm,
cheating. He was like naturally talented and had all this chakra pool, but he was lazy and lackadaisical with it. He all he wanted to do was fucking classic American dream, bro. Eat burgers, play video games. That man did not care about nothing. And it just reached a point where there's a point in the story where
mm-hmm,
Momoshiki's like, you're gonna lose everything.
mm-hmm,
And you almost take that for granted the whole time watching it because it still stays very playful, and
mm-hmm.
Sasuke is fighting dinosaurs and
Yeah, Velociraptor,
bullshit, bro. But when
bro.
it switches to Twin Blue Vortex, man, I promise
Mm-hmm.
you, that man took time to say, I'm going to clean this shit up. And he really did.
So Bronny James, basically.
Yeah, I would say Bronny.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Bronny, maybe. I don't know.
Look,
That's hard to say.
it's,
I mean, look,
it's
it's the
like,
same thing. You can say the same thing about LeBron. You know, started off with nothing, going all the way up. Then his son, whatever. Just saying. All right,
I
but I
don't
have a
think
question.
Bronny gonna start off no Barca.
I mean, look, he already in the G League. He's 50 round. I don't think he was NBA ready. The last 2 games he's gotten a little bit better, but I don't think he was NBA ready. He's using them ninja tools. I'm just saying. Speaking about ninja tools,
Go ahead.
how do you feel about like a lot of the times ninjutsus take a back, like they take like a side role because of ninjutsu tools absorption in Boruto. How do you feel about that?
So it does take a side role, but the further you get into it, you start to realize that Baruto brings ninjutsu to the forefront. He's like he's amplifying Rasengans. He's using all older techniques, flying, rising, all the stuff that all the OG inherited things from Naruto. And
Mm-hmm.
I do like the fact that ninjutsu has became like more of a like a secret art, not secret art, but sacred art, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In Boruto, where it's yeah, it's something that everybody can have a chance at operating in because it's so well versed now. But because of that now, it becomes that thing that only the people who really take it seriously on that level can really excel at it. And that's why you have, Barto's story told that way because you're supposed to see him take it for granted and everyone
Mm-hmm.
around him's like, ninjutsu, ninjutsu, ninjutsu. You see the flop and then he's like, nah, I should have listened back then, ninjutsu.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's almost like tattooing though, too, in my opinion, where tattooing's at. You got so many cheat codes that people can do. Whereas though you got the core
Right,
root
right.
of it, yeah, you got the
Mm-hmm.
core root of it that's
Mm-hmm.
like what you're supposed to do and the tradition of it. And the closer you get to the tradition of it, I feel like the better you can make those innovative things make sense.
Talking like you mentioned the tricks and stuff. Something that you're at least in the chat that you're really big on is like, yo, I'm studying and I'm studying the algorithm specifically. Like
Hmm.
the algorithm is such a big topic in the community. I was curious how you view the algorithm, and are you constantly looking for how to stay on top? Because to me, as like a creator, it feels like you do your thing, and if you see something that's working, you're always willing to experiment. I'm curious, how do you see the algorithm, and is it an enemy? Is it a friend? Does it not matter? You're still gonna do you?
As a content creator, I feel like it's your best friend, but that's not my title, right? I'm a tattooer. So I would say it's more a tool. Um, at the end of the day, like if you're into business and you want to sell anything, you want to put whatever your product is on in front of the most eyes, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
figuring out how to do that is probably the most important thing. Word of mouth is always going to be the best thing when it comes to tattooing, but the way that you reach people now is completely different. People don't even go to the grocery store as much and want to be bothered. They want to go in and get out. So
For
yeah,
sure.
yeah. So what I started doing is I started paying attention to myself and what routines I was into, right? And I would wake up, I would make my breakfast, open Instagram, look at it, see a couple things funny, see a couple things trending, and interact with it away. And then I was like, you know what? I can start to shape and mold how I present my tattoos that way. So I
Mm.
started researching how to, and it's always up and down, right? Like sometimes you catch things early and you utilize the trend or you utilize the sound, and then you go from there. But to me, I think it's more of a tool. It shouldn't make or break your career. It can make your career a lot more presentable to people, a lot easier for you to take off, just because it's just more eyes. But
Mm.
ultimately, like if you're not tattooing, it's not Instagram's fault, and if you are tattooing, it's not Instagram's doing. It's you. So it's just a
Mm.
tool.
That doesn't really. That's a real. Yeah, you got me thinking. For real. You got me introspective,
S-
introspective, and because staying on that thought track, right? Algorithm fighting against the algorithm. Another thing I hear a lot of is like the industry is oversaturated, and I
Yeah,
feel like there's two camps. I'm yet to really meet somebody who's really in the middle, where
yeah,
like it's either yes, it's completely oversaturated. I can't stand Instagram. I hate everything online, or the other camp is like anime tattoos just got wrong. Like
mm-hmm.
we just need to step back. I'm
yeah.
curious where you stand. You know, if you do stand on one side, maybe you are that middle ground. I'm curious your thoughts.
I like to think that I'm somewhere in the middle, just because again, I'm a person who I don't like to like I'm not saying this in a braggy way at all, but I'm someone who has came from nothing at all,
Mm-hmm.
right? So There was no art career in mind growing up. My parents fought me on it all my life. I'm from my parents are yeah, they're like third world country Caribbean.
Mm.
So they were like doctor, lawyer, doctor, lawyer. My
Uh-huh.
mom was like, you can be a masseuse because my legs be hurting, or you good at math, be a mathematician. As soon as I took interest in art, she was like, this is a waste of time. You need to cut this out. So like there
Mm.
was no like plan or anything for that. Um I as someone who jumped into tattooing in a way where people, perceived at that time that I wasn't supposed to, I would never tell anyone not to pursue tattooing, right? However, the word oversaturation is kind of a on the fence word. I don't think it's oversaturated. I feel like it is just saturated, right? It's just a lot of tattooers, and we can
Mhm.
see a lot of tattooers because of social media, right? People can see the lifestyle of artists and they
Mhm.
want to partake. And there's other artists who in other avenues like painters or digital artists or whatever, they may not be making money at that and they see tattooing as a way to make money in their art career. I think it's safe for anyone to be, if you excuse me, if you love art and you want to participate in it, I do feel like you should. Where the word oversaturation becomes a thing to me is when it comes to like the niche tattooers. I feel like there's a lot of people who decide to be anime, video game, comic book tattooers because it's popular amongst clients and not because they have a love for it.
Mhm.
Um, and to me, that makes all the difference. I'm actually a nerd, so when I draw and create things, I'm coming from the mindset of also a consumer. I want to create something that's cool that I would put on my body because I love these characters and I try
Mhm.
to implement that into what I do for clients. I try to give them something unique that represents the client and themselves. But if you're not a fan of anime, how would you know how those things work? Some people
Mhm.
are like, oh well, it's just like maybe they don't know scars or they don't know directions of things. That's not even the case. How can you
Mhm.
show off the true
Mm.
personality of Gojo if you don't know Gojo? You know
It's
what I mean?
true.
How can you show off like to discern like concerning facial features that Zenitsu would put on in
Mhm.
situations if you don't watch it? All they're doing is taking a screenshot and saying this character looks like this, right? So it's a little bit different when you have like a tattooer involved in it versus an artist that's tattooing involved in it.
Mhm.
Um,
Mm.
Artists are going to want to draw what they're interested in, and people who just want to make money at it are going to want to tattoo things that are popular. So whatever's popular is always going to feel more saturated when there's more people involved in general.
So you kind of
Something
answered the next question I was gonna ask, kind of with that. I was like, do you think like the explosion of like anime in general after the pandemic is like contributing to this like saturation in the industry?
Absolutely. People
Hmm.
during the pandemic, people sat down and watched anime all day, and all they did was tell other people that wouldn't normally watch it, that ran out of things to watch,
Hmm.
bro, you got to give this thing a chance, man. I know you watch Game of Thrones, but Attack on Titan is lit
True.
too. Like
Yes.
I know you watched like I was doing it with my wife. I was getting my wife to watch stuff that she would never watch a day in her life. There's an anime called Darwin's Game on
Yo, remember that?
Netflix. That shit was gas, bro, and that was the middle of the pandemic. I was like, yo, this is a crazy different isekai. You know what I mean? Oh, not
Hmm.
isekai, but like
Yeah, it's like a
that one
battle
was an
royale kind
isekai.
of.
There was a battle royale one. High Risk Invasion was the isekai during COVID. That
oh,
was
it's
at the
really
same
on
time.
Netflix.
Yeah, on Netflix.
Oh,
It got a character named Sniper Mask that everyone fucking loves. He just
yeah.
wear a mask and he just snipes. But it's cool. It's cool. It's just a weird story. But yeah, to answer your
Hmm.
question, COVID definitely contributed to it. I think anime has always been this popular. I think what COVID
Hmm.
did was make people sit on their phones and realize that there were other people like them. So
Mm.
instead of them hiding after we were allowed to be outside, all of us nerds started being like, man, fuck this. We about to go be regular people. Y'all
Yo,
was making it
facts.
seem like we wasn't allowed to be here, but I guess we are. So we're gonna do our thing. So you start after that started to see more people dabble into it.
Hmm.
And when you see a larger group doing something that maybe a smaller group may not want to contribute in, that smaller group, at least half of those people are going to say, you know what, that looks more popular and fun. It's more people involved. So now I want to watch it. Now I want to be a Dragon Ball fan or a Naruto fan for all the late anime bloomers, the Naruto fans.
The-
Jeez, no, that's tough. Oh my gosh. And that makes me think of something. I'm a big Alex Hormozy fan. He's like a business guy or whatever, but he said something interesting that I think applies here, more so to the what we were talking about before with like the saturation, where it's like if you're in a space that people are joining, it can feel saturated, but it's actually probably a good thing because if it was dying, nobody would be joining, right? And you
Mm.
wouldn't even have the opportunity to join. Like if you're trying to get into the newspaper, the physical newspaper business right now, that business is like shrinking. That's definitely like 20% every year.
There's no innovation in newspapers. That's why
Hmm.
that business technically has not shrunk. It's shifted. News is now on the phone, right?
Hmm.
So you don't need like if you Apple comes with an app embedded that gives you the news all day long. Your email
Hmm.
list gives you the news all day long. So that has made the paper die out. The paper's not needed, it's actually a waste, right? Whereas though
Hmm.
entertainment is something that you can't lose once it starts. What people like doesn't change as long as somebody likes it. So you got to think back about how long ago anime was actually a thing. It's not just Dragon Ball, right? It's earlier than that. You have Fist of the North Star in the 80s. You have things way before that. You have that whole Gundam run that was taking over like 3 decades of entertainment for nerdy people. And even before that, it before we had anime in the West, we had comic books, Spider-Man, X-Men.
True.
We had all the DC stuff. All that happened was that stuff has been fizzling out because Disney has been doing a shit job and Warner Brothers have been doing a shit job. And people are realizing that Japan has storytelling for everyone down
Hmm.
pat. Same thing with like how music has shifted. Man, I've been hearing K-pop shit that sounds more hard ass than rap.
No,
Yeah.
literally.
And it's and
Literally.
it's and it's because they take their music industry thing a little bit different seriousness, right?
Hmm.
So we end up getting it, and as consumers in America, we're unbiased consumers. We just take whatever is the best. We are not
Hmm.
saying, oh yeah, like as much as we like to be like, yeah, pro America, not we as in us, but we as in the country, right?
Uh-huh.
When it comes to products, we don't give a fuck. When it comes to entertainment, we don't care. We want the best. We're the
Hmm.
pickiest. We complain the most. So if it's the best, we're going to consume it. I
Hmm.
know people like real thugs, bro. People I grew up with that would bully the shit out of me growing up because I watch anime. That's hit me up like, yo, bro, you watch JJK?
Yeah.
And as
Bastards.
much as as
Oh,
much as
Nonsense.
much as I want to be like, man, fuck that. You can't be down now. Like it's for everybody. And
Hmm.
I want it to continue to grow with as many consumers as possible. With more consumers, you're going to get more artists. So the saturation thing is always going to just snowball a little bit more. What I know, and you can mark my words, what's going to happen, and I'm already starting to see it happen, is that the consumer amount is plateauing for the first time.
mm,
Artists are seeing that. So artists are going away from tattooing just anime and they're tattooing other things that are already in their mind of their interest that they're like, well, I can draw that too. I can do that too. Right?
Hmm.
Or oh, I can do movie portraits instead because it seems more people are into that. I can do comic book stuff because more people are into that. And then you'll have a few artists that'll be like, I can't stop fucking with anime because this is what I love. You'll
Hmm.
see the oversaturation leave. You'll see there will be clients that leave too because those clients aren't really fans. But the core clientele group that are fans of anime will continue to grow. It just won't grow as big as this influx that has over, the COVID time. But
Mm-hmm.
it'll continue to grow. There's still new animes that are absolute gas that's coming out every single season. And they're extremely good artwork, so it's not like people won't want it tattooed, right? Like at some point they will. It just has to hit that peak of what Dragon Ball did, what Naruto did, what Bleach did, what JJK did very early, what
Mm-hmm.
Attack on Titan did. All these shows that are goaded, they created a fan base that likes tattoos, that wants those things tattooed. So us as anime artists, we're fishing for those fan bases to try to bring them into what we're doing.
I think I had a question.
Yes.
Just kind of taking a step back. You mentioned how art was never really the card, at least from the people around you perspective. Like you got to
Mm-hmm.
get a real job, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
And I was reading your bio on the Mimic website. You mentioned you're from the small town there, DE. I was really interested in your journey from small town in Delaware, like getting told that, that's a waste of time doing art, being, looked at as different for liking anime, to now you're like in one of the most popular shops I would say the country, doing some of the best art. I would say in the country, like doing what you love. I'm so curious as to like what did that journey look like from DK's perspective? Because we can see it, from the third person where it's
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, you start here, you got better, he moved and final class. What was it like for you, like
Mm-hmm.
actually going through it? This, I think, 8 years, 8 years, question mark?
Like your
Eight
training arc.
years, yeah.
Years, like actual real life of art.
Yeah. So I'm not originally from Delaware. I'm from New York. I'm from Brooklyn.
Hey,
And both of
what? No way!
Hey,
yeah,
What?
yeah, Flatbush.
Wait a minute, wait. What?
I was born
No
in Kings County.
DK1.
I
I don't
was
know how I
born in
couldn't
Kings
tell.
County. I
You
was
seem
born
like
in
a New York
Kings
nigga.
County Hospital. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wait, but
I
when did you leave New York? Is the
when I
question.
was 5. That's why I tell people.
Mm.
Yeah, that's why I tell people Delaware because it really, I
Mm-hmm.
can't make any claim to New York
Mm-hmm.
outside of me. I used to visit every summer, and them kids was the kids that bullied me. They,
Like the New
yeah,
Yorkers.
rare.
Mm-hmm.
Them New Yorkers a little different, but
True.
they I moved there when I was 5, and for the most part, I've always been like a kid that liked to do like artistic stuff. My both my parents are from Guyana, and then my mom also is married to my stepdad who is from Guyana.
Mm.
So it's funny because I was just talking to my mom about this today, but I was raised literally under a rock. I was
Mm.
not allowed to leave the house except for school. Um, I I did to go places, but
Mm-hmm.
like I would be able to just go right outside. My mom had to be able to look outside and see me for me to go anywhere. I couldn't hang out with no friends. I couldn't sleep over nobody's house unless it was like my siblings.
Mm-hmm.
And like that was it. Very sheltered. So I like I got bullied for a lot because I was already like a weird kid to people. I like just would keep my head down and draw all the time. I came to school smelling like curry, so they would make fun of me for that.
Mm.
I mean, it's pretty wild though. You gotta like I look like a regular black kid. My mom's Indian, so she cooks like a lot of Indian
Ah.
food. So I would come to school smelling like curry, and they'd be like, "Bro, I don't understand what's going on." And I lived in Delaware where it was a lot less Caribbean people. So at the
Mm-hmm.
moment, so my mom was like one of the first wave of like real bunch of Caribbean people going over to Delaware
Mm-hmm.
during that time. So fast forward a little bit in like middle and in high school, I would draw all the time, like anime and cartoon stuff, but I would also draw like portraits and stuff. And I started
Mm-hmm.
taking like art stuff seriously, and that was the first time my mom was like, "Nah, fam, that's not what we doing."
Mm.
And I would just hide it and just she had like a you can't lock your door policy. And her reasoning
Yeah.
was she was like, "You could be in there making a bomb." And I'm like,
Yeah,
so
that sounds like mom would say.
my mom is so fearful of American culture just because of she came over here, she seen it, and she was like,
Mhm.
my kids
Yeah.
are not going to jail for any mix-ups. They're not getting caught up in anything. She would see like kids on the news making bombs in their parents' house, and they'll get in trouble. So she would think like I'm not letting any of that stuff happen.
Mhm.
So she was very overprotective in that way. But looking back, I'm glad she was because I would have probably been a really strange kid if she didn't be like, "Yo, what are you doing?" So I couldn't lock my room or anything. So she would come in and I'll be drawing and it'll be like a mess all over, and she would like she would get mad. She'll beat me. But
Mhm.
and that not I hope that doesn't make anyone think my mom's abusive. It's not.
Mhm.
Caribbean parents discipline.
It's part
So
of
right, it's
yeah,
part of the
no,
culture, and it's not like she was like scarring me. She was
Mhm.
just disciplining me, right? So
Mhm.
I kept that untucked until I got to high school, the end of high school, and I
Mhm.
had an art teacher that was like, "Hey, I think you're good enough to enter an art show." I was taking art classes just to get free electives, so I didn't
Mhm.
have to work in school. I was smart in like math and science and stuff, but any class I didn't like, my brain just wouldn't take to it. So I would
Mhm.
only pick classes that I I knew that I would be like, all right, I can just do whatever they want me to and I can get an A and I can just go on my life. I really wanted to play football and I was actually really good. I just was glass, so I got hurt a bunch.
Ah.
So that made me make my decision to be like, okay, I guess I'll try to be an artist. Even though my mom don't want me to, whatever, she's
Mhm.
not paying for the school, so I'll do it myself. So
Mhm.
I was working like five like BS jobs at the same time. I worked for a temp agency. I worked at Walmart. I was a party promoter and a photographer. And I like sold something else on the side. Um, but I worked for a moving company,
Mm.
all at the same, like around the same time.
Damn.
And I was putting myself through school at Delaware College of Art and Design. It's a college in Wilmington, and it's a sister
Mhm.
school to Pratt. So you would go there for 2 years, and then you would go to Pratt.
holy
I
shit.
went, yeah, I went to other colleges before that, and they were like just community colleges, and they were like graphic design degrees, psychology degrees. I went to school for maybe like 7 years and got like 3 degrees in pending. I probably need one semester for each.
Oh my
And
god.
I can take like one full year of school and I had 3 degrees.
Damn.
And it just every time I got to the end, like close to the end of something, I was like, I don't know if this is what I want to do. I want to be tied to art some way. And this isn't being artsy. So I would move
Mhm.
over to the next artsy thing that made me feel okay. I finally got to animation and illustration design and DCAD, and I was
Mhm.
happy. Um, and then but I couldn't pay for school. It was just like I was working so much and going to school. I was tired every single day, whatever. So I quit and was just doing like freelance drawings on the side and working at like Best Buy. My goal was to get all the free shit at Best Buy I could with the discount or like cheap stuff with the discount that I would
Mhm.
need to create an art career and then
Mhm.
YouTube my way to the top.
Mhm.
That was the plan. So I started doing that to make my art better. And then I still was like, I really would like to tattoo. I tried tattooing once before, and for like 2 months, it was ass. That was the
Mm.
only time I've ever used a coil, missed like all the old school stuff, and I was like not doing well at all. And I was like, yeah, tattooing ain't it, man. This is not
Ooh.
Before that, did you have any exposure to the tattoo industry?
this much. My mom is like no tattoos, still to this day. She's like, fuck tattoos. I don't want nothing to do with them. She entertains it now because she thinks like she thinks I'm famous, but I'm not,
Cause you
and she
Yes, right.
think
Isn't this humble?
you be humble.
she nah, it's the truth. I'm like I'm such a small town dude still, but she thinks like because she's from a third world country, if
Mhm.
she sees a video of me professionally done on Facebook, she's like, wow, my son is big. So she's
Because
like
it
she
is.
don't do that. So she looks at it like that. So she's okay with it, but
Mm-hmm.
during my apprenticeship, she kept telling me to stop. When I was in art school, she kept telling me to stop. She cried when she signed the paperwork for FAFSA for me to go to art school. And I asked her, I was like, "Are you crying because you're gonna miss me?" She said, "No, it's because you're wasting your time."
What?
It's
Crazy.
but it's like in her defense, my mom doesn't know better. So now that she sees it, that's why she's like the proudest person that can possibly be proud of me, because now I've shown her the capabilities of it. Before, like, to her, the only way you can make any kind of money is if you're a doctor or a lawyer. And if not, then you just work for $7 at Walmart for the rest of your life. And that's okay.
One, I just want to say, I think me and Isaac, I'm gonna speak for you, Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna speak for Isaac. Like, I feel really seen, like, with your early childhood experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very similar thing. Like,
Yeah.
crazy protective. Like,
Yep.
you do not go outside. You do not do anything with, like, if I can't see you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, like, and I love the way, like, it kind of splits off because it's like similar, and then, like, there's so much I didn't know. Where it's like, I didn't know you went to school before, like, the illustration
Mm-hmm.
stuff,
Yeah.
and, like,
Yeah.
to just to make it happen.
I feel like to be an artist, like, a lot of tattooers are artists because they took the long route, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
they were already into art somewhat, but they didn't have any like actual training of how to be an artist, right? So, but their art was great. So they dove into tattooing and they learned how to be a tattooer before they learned how to be an artist, right?
Mm-hmm.
I came into tattooing already established in my brain that I wanted to be an artist and I wanted to sell myself a certain way. So when I met the person who apprenticed me, his name on Instagram is Omari, but his real name is Oba Jackson. He's actually a phenomenal black and gray portrait and Afro surrealism artist. That's what I started off trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
But he's, um that's what he does, and he's like super talented at it. But when I first apprenticed under him, he made me do a exercise that I know he made me do the exercise as like a bullshit apprenticeship thing, right? Because and that's just was the purpose. But me at the time, being me, really dove my full brain into it, thinking it was like gonna like I this is supposed to benefit me, so let me really figure it out. So he gave me a task to look up any major brand that I wanted, and he was like, study that brand, tell me how that brand works,
Mm-hmm.
what's their target audience, and everything. Well, so he didn't say that. He was like, tell me about that brand, and I was like, what do you want to know? And he was like, everything. So I went
Mm-hmm.
home and like I was literally thinking about everything. I was like, okay, so what's their target on? And I went to school for marketing stuff too. I just did
That's
again. I just did
that's
right.
interesting.
So
Ah,
if you go to school for any kind of graphic design, one of the first classes they make you take is marketing 101, because you can't
Mm.
create any marketing 101 and then
True.
cut and then color psychology.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't understand the color psychology until they broke it down. And obviously I don't do color now, but um it still has affected my art decisions, just
Mm-hmm.
knowing what does what, right? So the marketing part taught me how to break down and dissect how to sell a product with marketing. But instead of doing the product, I realized that tattooing is, and this is very unpopular opinion, but tattooing it is was moving in the direction where you were not selling your artwork, you were selling yourself with an experience, including the artwork.
can you
So I
speak?
would,
Can you go deeper? Because I think that's a major, like, gem nugget
yeah,
that a
Mm-hmm.
lot of artists don't want to admit it. Where I think personal brand is like,
most important. It's
Mm-hmm.
like if you had to give a percentage on a spectrum, artwork is at most 45%.
Mm-hmm.
65% is personal brand, and depending on how you maneuver your personal brand, it can affect how you maneuver the artwork part and vice
Mm-hmm.
versa. But if you have a very strong personal brand, you can actually have not so great artwork, and people
Mm-hmm.
still want to come hang out with you and get tattooed. You just price yourself in whatever bracket that your artwork falls into, be honest with yourself, and you're able to make more clientele. And then you just work your artwork up because your branding is already so good that you just have to work on drawing, which is easier because you're doing that every day for tattoos anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the branding part, if you don't have that in the beginning, you waste a lot of your time just thinking that your art isn't good enough. That's why you're not being booked. It's not
Um,
that. It's that you're not giving, like, there's no reason for people to say, I want to come fuck with this person. So that Google thing, so I picked Google for the site.
Mm-hmm.
And I picked Apple at first, and then he said I couldn't pick Apple because I was working at the time at Best Buy as an Apple expert. So he was like,
Ah.
he he was like, nah, you can't. I did the whole report and everything. I was like, here you go. He's like, you picked Apple? I said, absolutely, my favorite brand. He was like, okay, do Google since you like Apple so much. And I was like, I fucking hate Google. Why would you make me do something I don't like? He was like, just do it. And again, I knew it was like him just being like, just giving me busy work, but because I wanted a tattoo so bad, I dove into it, and it made me realize that no matter what, every brand chooses what they want to attach to. It's either themselves, so they promote them like, hey, come get this from us because we're so cool, we're whatever. Their product, which is, hey, come get this because it's ideal and perfect for you,
Mm-hmm.
or their community, meaning, hey, we're creating this product or we're giving you this experience that makes you want to be part of our community because we care about you so much. And Google's approach was the community for their search engine, right? They want everyone to be able to use it. So they dump email into it, they jump phone number, they dump Excel, like they dump
Docs.
docs, everything. Google
Mm-hmm.
main page of what you use, the search engine, has become something that is a community search engine. It's not a single person who don't say, and Caribbean people will teach you this more than anybody. If we call something like a name that's a
Mm-hmm.
brand, that brand has done their job. We don't say, hey, can you get me a bandage? We say, can you get me a band-aid? Right?
Oh,
True.
We
shoot.
don't say we don't say, hey, can you get me a cola? We say, can you get me a Coke?
Cope. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. It's whatever is the main thing, it gets labeled as the thing. So when you hear Caribbean people say they don't say search on Safari or search on Yahoo, and they
Mm-hmm.
might be using those search engines. Hey, ask Google. Because Google is so widely known for that. Apple did the same thing with Siri to combat the Google,
Mm-hmm.
right? But Siri has its own uniqueness that makes people want to deal with that more. They have
Mm-hmm.
said, what is our clientele base used to? All of our products are user friendly. So let's make Siri more user friendly than Google, and that will
Mm-hmm.
make people want to switch. So it's understanding what your brand value is, understanding other people around you who's technically in competition with you, or
Mm-hmm.
they're also trying to pull from the same client pool, um, what their value is and how your value either combats or complements theirs. Because you can complement somebody's um, whatever they have going on in their brand, and that will also amplify your brand because you guys do it together.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's a combatant thing where their brand combats yours, you now have to make your experience of whatever makes your brand what it is stronger than the other people around or whatever.
Mm.
You know what this reminds me of? Like this exercise. Remember like Karate Kid when it's like wax on, wax off, and then
Mm-hmm.
he's doing all that stuff. He's like, yo, why am I doing this? And then when he gets into a situation, it's like, phew, phew, he's using all those moves.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say this is kind of what happened? Like this exercise, I feel like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, like your mentor, he might have given you more things like this, where in the moment you're like, I would take this serious because I know this is what I want to do. And then later down the line, you're like, oh, I think, okay, I kind of know how to, do this because of something I did
Yeah.
fine. years ago, whatever it can be.
And in no way am I going to say that I had the best apprenticeship situation, because I did not.
Yeah. You said
Uh,
let me
I,
air it out.
I just not even airing it out. That's just how apprenticeships end up happening. To be honest, 75% of it always ends up some bullshit happening. So it's almost expected, right? It's just because the tattoo community at that time wanted you to earn it a certain way. And earning it to them was making you feel so shitty. If you stuck around, then you deserved it. So
Wow.
so they found, like, and even with my mentor, he wasn't on that type of time because he started tattooing, which I didn't know at the time, 6 months before me. But some some people train to be good, bro, and some people are born of
Just built
God.
like that.
He's born of God, bro. Natural. He got big Gojo tattoo energy. When he came out, his mom, he was floating. I swear he was. I've never personally met an artist as talented as him. So, and
Wow.
if he ever sees this, he knows that this is not coming from like I love this person so much. I don't talk to him anything. We're not beefing, but I just don't, like, we don't keep up or anything. My life has progressed in a different direction, but like what he gave me was me. He made me want to prove him wrong really bad. Cause like in the beginning, like I not only was I fighting my mom with the tattoo thing, I was fighting him with the anime thing, and he wanted me to do what he was doing. And we sat down and we had a meeting, and he was the person who told me, he was like, tattooing is going in a niche direction. You guys have to. He talked to me and two other artists, me and one other artist, right? Yak used to work there, and yeah, that's how I met. Yeah, Yak. I apprenticed. The first shop I apprenticed at was Yak's uncle's shop, and both of them was artists there, and they left in a week into my apprenticeship to go start their own shop. And the guy over was like, he turned to me, he was like, "Come on, Sean, you come with me." And I went there for him, so I just picked my shit up and left.
Wow.
And I didn't ask no questions. I was just like, he was tattooing at his crib for a little bit. I went there every day, bro. I did not care. I wanted to learn from the best that I could find, and he was. So yeah, but I didn't know he was tattooing that short until after my apprenticeship was over. And I was like, man, I feel like I missed out on a bunch. And then someone was like, yeah, he didn't know what to tell you because he was only tattooing for this amount of time. And I was like, what do you mean? How?
That's crazy.
Yo.
He's like, yo, I just started last Tuesday. What do you mean?
Wait,
I was locked in.
But it was good.
No, I'm just saying, somebody in the chat, they said most people have terrible apprenticeships. The whole industry is rough with it, which kind of echoes what you were saying. Where it's like, earning it for them is suffering and just taking it.
Yeah. And even, like I said, with my apprenticeship, it didn't start off that way. This man was very nurturing to me. He was very nice. And like halfway through, he ended up going to a tattoo show, Ink Masters, and he met other tattooers well knitted into the industry, and they told him how to run things, right? So he came home, and the first thing he said to me was, "We gonna put you on top." And I was like, okay. And he was like, "But you gotta listen to everything I say." And I said, okay. And he was like, "What you want to do? You still want to do that anime stuff?" I said, yes. He said, "No, you don't." I said, okay. And and I just rocked out with whatever he was telling me to do at the time because I wanted a tattoo. But I didn't even have a bad apprenticeship, bro. I went originally to other shops to get an apprenticeship, and it was all obviously white people in the area, and they turned me down and was like, "You don't look like us, bro," like blatantly. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll just. But again, sheltered till I was like 15, I didn't experience blatant racism like that. I would only hear of it. So when he said I didn't look like them, I was like, oh man, I ain't got no tattoos. All right. So I bought a tattoo machine and tattooed myself a bunch, and it was ass. But then I went back and was like, hey man, like, I know you said that, I don't, I gotta look like you, and I heard that, you guys want people that want tattoos and stuff. And I went to hand him my portfolio, and he was like, "That's not what I meant." But our owner isn't even here right now, so you're gonna have to come back. And I was like, okay. And I left, and I talked to a couple of people, and they was like, "Nah, bro, they was being racist." And I was like, "What? What do you mean? Like, don't you think?" And it was an Indian guy in there, so that's why I didn't understand either. So I
Oh,
was,
bro, what? Hello.
he don't
Ew.
know that. How is he supposed to know that? I look like a regular black dude. They don't know what I'm mixed with.
Hey, bro,
And
you didn't know you didn't smell the curry? What?
bro, what? I wasn't smelling like curry at that time. I was putting on stuff. I was putting on fragrances. But to people who in America, you're black at all. You're black. Like
Yeah.
unless you're so light that people can't tell, and then you can operate a little different. But come on, bro, look at me. There's no one that's going to mistaken. They're not going. The most they might do is be like, "You Dominican or something?" Like that's what I get a lot. Is like people think I'm like dark Hispanic, and I'm like, "No, I'm just black." If I tell them that I'm mixed with Indian, they're like, "No, you're not. You're just black." So I'm like, "Okay, bro, that's fine. Whatever you tell me I am, I'm just gonna leave it alone.
It is what it is.
Whatever." But that was a tangent. But anyway, I was tattooing there. He told me that I shouldn't do anime, so I didn't. And then we had a little bit of a falling out, and I left. And when I left, I Yak ended up leaving too, and yeah, because of other things. I'm not telling that story because that's not my story to tell. But he left for reasons too, and I was working with a girl in her private studio that she had for like lashes and stuff. And I was really planning on trying to leave Delaware at that time. So Yak came and he was working in there with me because he knew like me and the girl had like a deal, and she wasn't charging me anything, so she wasn't charging him anything because he was with me. So we were like plotting that, and I was like, yeah, bro, I think I'm gonna move to Florida because he had a friend named Dan Price. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but he's a really big black and gray tattooer. But he told me that Dan moved to Florida, worked at a street shop, and ended up Justin Bieber walked in one day on South Beach, and he ended up tattooing the back of Justin Bieber's neck, and that made him famous. And
What?
but the dude is a great tattoo.
Move to Florida.
Son, listen, I was looking for clout, okay? I was trying to get somebody to find me, bro. But he told me that he did it. And the dude Dan, he's an amazing artist, a really cool dude too. I met him a couple times, and he does podcast stuff on Instagram a lot. And if you guys ever look him up, he's like a god, black and gray realism tattooer. And has one of the nicest shops I've ever seen. I've never been inside it, but I see a lot of it like in Instagram. But he told me he moved and tattooed Justin Bieber, so I was like, I need a game plan how to get out of this state, get around where there's more tattooers so I can learn more and figure out my footing. I had a friend that moved to Florida the year before. I reached out to him, was like, hey, I want to move. And he was like, I'll help you, bro. So I ended up moving there. I worked at a street shop with a racist boss. Yeah,
So
he's
you
racist.
ended up in Florida?
Yeah, I lived in Florida for like 4 years.
Yo, so much DK lore. This is crazy.
Yo,
Yeah.
literally.
I lived in Fort Lauderdale, Florida for 4 years. I worked at a shop called Double Cross Tattoo. It was
Racist boss.
racist boss. Racist boss. I think the other boss was racist too, but he was one of them slim shady white guys. Like like he said nigga to his friends, but not around me. Yeah, he's one of them white guys. So, and I had a conversation with him about it. I was like, bro, I don't care what you do on your free time. Just know if that ever comes out your mouth around me, we gonna have some issues. But the other guy I knew was racist because he came in with a Confederate flag shirt. And yeah, and then I talked to him about it, and he was like, I didn't know. A guy.
Yeah.
Hold on. He's from like Slovakia or Russia or something like that. So that was his excuse. And the other boss was sat down in the car with me. He used to sell me bud, so we was smoking a blunt. And I was like, bro, I think I gotta leave because Peter is wilding, and my clients cannot come in here with that like that. I was tattooing like a BLM activist at the time. uh, and it was in the middle of all that kind of like the riot, not riots, but you know what I mean, the protests and stuff, and yeah, and me and her was chatting about a lot of stuff that was going on, and then out of the blue, he walked in with that. So I quit that and went to another shop, and they were predominantly an anime shop. And right before I left,
Really?
there was yeah,
What
right.
year
It's
is
called
it?
this. I can't remember. I think it was like 2018, 2017, maybe.
An anime shop? It's not
Yeah,
Sonic.
it's no, it's Black Hand Studio. Do you know Art Kayla Rose and Justine Lucy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they're all the directors.
I worked with them for a long time. Yeah.
Really?
Yo,
We
bro,
did
Yeah.
drop a
yo,
spotlight
that
on
is
Justine.
crazy.
Yeah,
Bro,
Justine's the homie, bro.
yo, giving on
So
energy,
so
mom.
so so I started working there because a friend of mine named Pablo left. He was the reason I worked at Double Cross because I thought he was the boss at first.
Hmm.
I seen his artwork and was like, damn, the boss is crazy. I want to learn from this dude. And then he was the apprentice. He's just like another god level artist. Been an
Hmm.
artist all his life. Was a graffiti artist before tattooing. Got into tattooing, and Pablo can do literally everything. He to me is the most underrated artist I've ever met in my entire life. He's such a like a family dude. His name on Instagram is Tattoos by Pablo, I think
Mm.
now, but it used to be I Feel Like Pablo. I hope he changes it back because that was a lit name. But he's like one of my best tattoo friends. And he's tattooed me a bunch of times. But I ended up following him to Black Hand, and I that's how I met Kayla, Art Kayla Rose, and Justine at the time was a apprentice. The shop owner, his name is Carlos. His name is like Arrow35 on Instagram. If you guys want to see the best anime mashups, he does anime characters as side duck.
At Side Dog?
Yeah, yeah, bro. He's crazy. And it's crazy. We kind of sat down and it was like a joke at first, and he was like, "No, I'm gonna do this," and we was like, "Okay, bro," and he just started drawing all these Sailor Moon side duck. Hold on, let me show you.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
got one of them
yeah,
right
yeah,
here.
yeah. No, your camera went black. Oh,
This is Garurumon from Digimon, and then
that's Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yugi.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, you
That's
ain't never see Digimon, bro?
nah, bro. I didn't see no Digimon.
That's crazy. Digimon lit. That's better than Pokemon in my opinion. That's an unpopular opinion as well. Don't take
I'm
my
about to
word
say
for it.
better than Pokemon. All right, so and something for the side, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think was the turning point? The turning point of all this.
For me,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I decided I seen a I seen a post when I was working at the Double Cross place, right?
Mm-hmm.
And another girl, her name's Solace Inc.
Mm-hmm.
On she also works at Black Hand now, but she was hired at the same time as me from the Double Cross place,
Mm-hmm.
and we was both getting hoed the entire time. Her name's Sarah. She's an amazing artist as
Mm-hmm.
well. She does like realism and that kind of stuff. Um, but she would watch me watch anime every day at work, and then I would tattoo like lady faces and stuff, but I wouldn't tattoo any anime. I told myself I wasn't doing it because I had friends that was, and I wanted to promote my friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Pablo at the time wanted to push it, and then Yak was pushing it. So instead of me saying, "Hey, I'm doing anime," I was like, "I have these friends that I love and care about.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing anime. I'm doing this thing, so we can cross promote." Um, she kept seeing nerds come in, and I would stand up front and just talk to them all day. And she was
Mm-hmm.
like, "D, you love this stuff too. Pablo's not here all the time, and he's always booked. Why don't you do this stuff too?" And I was like, I don't want to. You know, I don't want to be disrespectful to
Mm-hmm.
people who are anime tattooers who are like fans, like real anime fans. And she was like, "You're a real fan. You literally watch it all the time." I was like, "Yeah, but I don't draw that all the time."
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I was drawing realism, right? And she was like, "I think you should do it." That same day, I seen a post from JP Tron Walker and I had just started following him, and he was like, "Hey, I don't know who this is for, but I'm posting this here because I'm hearing a lot of chatter about it. But if you love something and it's like meant for you, and you want to make your art career out of it, you should. Don't listen to anybody that tells you that you." He's like, "Don't listen to anybody that tells you that this will make you more money or this will make you more money. Honestly speaking, if you just love it enough and put enough effort into it, you will always be okay making whatever artwork you want to." And I seen that and I took that such to heart. I texted her right away and I was like, "Hey, I think I'm going to start trying to just do the anime thing." And she was like, "Good, I'm proud of you." So
Wow.
at
So
Hey,
for
first,
you thing right then, like for you, that was
that
for
literally a for
you.
you.
word. And at first, it started off like this really ugly anime realism shit that I am not proud of, and I'm not showing anybody. There's like two or three of them that I'm like, they were good tattoos. They
Mm-hmm.
just are not anywhere near what I'm doing now, right? Because they were like me trying to figure out how to blend the two. But then I gave up on holding on to the realism and the illustration of that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just leaned all my skills into just re illustrating characters to highlight them in ways that I wanted to. Um, so once I put all my brain power into doing it one way, I started realizing it was taking off obstacles that I was having, right? So I was like, just anime. And then I was like, okay, so just anime and black and gray, but then people weren't really wanting it with like
Mm-hmm.
a black and gray wash. So I
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay, I'll try anime color, but then all my clients were dark skinned people. So the arrow, so and it as much as people want to say it's not different, it's very different,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
right? So I was getting taught by people who've tattooed on everyone, um, how to do color, but they would approach it originally as if I'm starting off. Most of the people they taught starting off had white clients. I had no white
Mm.
clients. I Everyone was black. So it was not to say he's a bad teacher, because and this is the Carlos dude. He's a great teacher. He taught me
Mm-hmm.
a lot of stuff. I just wasn't picking it up because there was a mental barrier of what I'm seeing on the iPad versus what I'm seeing on the skin, and trusting the colors I'm putting in are the colors I was putting in.
Mm.
So I asked him what would be a cheat code to figure it out, and he was like, "Just do it in opaques, and you'll figure out the technique of color,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll still be black and gray, but it'll look more like a color tattoos like presentation."
Mm-hmm.
And I first reached out because I had just started following Sad Chicano and I know he was doing it, Geo.
Mm-hmm.
And I first reached out to him because he doesn't do it the same way as me, but he was the first one. Him and Mike Randazzo were the first two that I seen anime wise do full opaque work. The Carlos guy was already doing full opaque work, but in like his illustration stuff, which I love. But they were the first anime artists I seen to do it, and I know Mike wasn't doing it exclusively, so I didn't need to ask him. But I reached out to Gio and I asked him. I was like, "Hey, bro, I don't want any issues, and I don't want you to think I'm copying you. I just really want to use the pigments you're using to figure some things out.
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay?" And he was like, "Bro, I don't control any of that shit. You can do whatever the fuck you want."
Ah.
And I was like, "Bet, bro." Like, and me and Gio are real cool. I love that dude, and I look up to him a lot because he's helped me, figure out a lot of things early on. But once I got that green light, I think the first one I did was Edward um, Elric
Mm-hmm.
from
Full metal.
Full Metal. Yeah, and it's probably still somewhere down on my page because
Mm-hmm.
I'm still very proud of that piece. It was the first, like, my first time saying, "Hey, I'm trying this completely new thing." Um, and from that point, I just was like, I can't turn back. I can't, like, I've been battered and argued with plenty of times by
Mm-hmm.
other artists, by shop owners, by clients, by just friends, and they're like, "Hey, bro, I think your stuff will look really cool in color instead of this black gray thing." And I'm just like, "Nah, bro, I can't. This is my steez," because
Mm-hmm.
I know that if you like, Apple only sells Apple products, yet they're number one.
True.
Yep. $1 trillion company.
it doesn't matter what you're selling, is how you sell it, right? If you
Mm-hmm.
get enough people to like you and like what you're, they're gonna like my artwork, right? Anyway, but will they prioritize it over a colored piece? Probably not. But they might prioritize it over it if they like me,
Mm-hmm.
which is what I try to
That
put
goes back
forward
to
more than anything.
that raining piece and like that. What?
Yeah.
I think I
And
found the Edward. It's clean.
right, yeah.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you.
And for the people at home, can you explain the opaques? You know, definitely for the viewers, not me.
For sure. So, what do you want to know about it, though?
Like when I
Ask.
hear
Is it?
opaques, I know it has
Yeah,
something to do with colors, but like,
yeah.
is it like a certain whether you blend the colors? Is it a certain like combination of certain types of colors? Like what? I
Right.
have no clue. I actually have no clue what the hell opaque like
So,
word means.
opaque, opaques and tattoos. When you hear opaques, if someone says opaques, and something that's opaque just means you can't see through it. It's not translucent, right?
Oh,
So if a gray wash is translucent, it's just a really thin, watered down black. So you
Mm.
have to layer that black on top of itself to create the illusion of gray, right? Opaque grays is me using literally the color gray to create my stuff. So, and then because I learned black and gray first, and
Mm-hmm.
then I started learning color, and I have ADHD and probably a little bit of the tism. Uh, my my brain could not switch fully, and still today I've probably been doing this for 4.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I can't like I can. There's certain parts of my brain will be like pack, like color, and then I'll see something. I'm like, I want this to be this tone, but I don't have this tone. So let me create this tone with skin and the pigment. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll brush the pigment in so it's not fully and you can see through it. But
mm-hmm.
the skin, it shows an illusion of a lighter gray. And a lot of times I do that because certain skin colors can't take certain brightnesses of gray, right? So I'm pretty dark. I wouldn't put the lightest gray I use in me,
Mm-hmm.
but if I wanted to show off a character being having a white outfit or like white hair or something
Mm-hmm.
like that, or like having like white skin, I still need to use gray in certain parts to make it look like your skin is there's light hitting it in different directions.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the brushing comes into play and the smoothness of like a traditional black and gray comes into it. But the bare bones of it starts off as a color piece.
I'm curious because a lot of artists, at least where I see what I hear, it's like we were having this conversation with Vaughn where I was like, what do you like? What is your goal? What are you aiming for? Like, you've done a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You're to me, I'm like you guys are my favorite, and it's like, where do you want to go? And it's something he mentioned. He was like, I'm still trying to find that my style, the one that DK, BD have. Like when you see it, it's like they did that. Like
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
DK did that. How were you able to find your thing? And then any advice if you were looking over the shoulder of somebody who's like in that same thing, like I want to find my style and
Mm-hmm.
like have the confidence to, do it.
It's gonna sound really backwards, but stop trying to find it. A style in tattooing is just making decisions in your tattoo that complement your strengths at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't do color, bro.
Mm.
That's why I ended up doing gray. And because artistically I wanted to be great at something and I
Mm-hmm.
can't, and I know myself, I can't focus on everything. I gave myself the task of really dissecting gray. Some people like people talk to me about it and they show me what they do and they're like, "Oh yeah, I just applied it like it was just gray." And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
"Yeah, bro, but like there's more you can do to the skin to make it look different,
Yeah.
right? And not just be like it's just black and white, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
people take black and gray and they think it's just like you have your darks and you have skin. You have your
Mm-hmm.
darks and you have skin. And there's a lot of in between that you can do, to make it look reflective, make it look shiny, make the skin look like skin, make leather in characters' outfits look like leather. There's a lot of things you can do with that, especially because my clientele base is so is mostly dark skinned clients, or a lot of dark skinned clients. It's probably 50-50 now since I've moved to North Carolina. But in South Florida, it was all black people. And that's just
Yeah.
what it was, right? But here it's like 50-50. But even so, like, I've been told by people, they're like, why don't you fully saturate things on a white client? And I'm like, because I wouldn't do it on a dark skinned client.
Mm.
My style has me answering questions for myself to make something for darker skinned clients that didn't exist. With me trying to do that, I found a way to do it on lighter clients, which, yes, there's more steps into making it, giving it more, because their skin needs that more, like those in between tones of the gray and stuff. But that's just an adjustment that my brain makes in the moment. I still apply it from the perspective of, I want to show skin like I would want to show skin on a darker skin client. Um, and that came with me trying to figure it out, what I was just trying to do in the moment. A lot of studying other people, but then not taking directly what they do. I can tell you all my inspirations, and none of them do black and gray at all. None of them. Biggest inspirations I can say is obviously Simon K. Bell, which is my number one. I've been following him since like 2012, and he started in the middle of my apprenticeship. He was just doing it. He made an announcement. He was just doing anime tattoos, and he was one of the first people. And I seen it and was like, damn, I might do that. Yak decided at that point, he was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. And I was like, okay, I guess both of us can't do it, but I always keep Simon in my head when I'm designing things, because he takes a lot of art things, implements it into tattooing that other people don't do, right? He breaks a lot of rules that people think tattooing has to follow, when in all reality, it's just another art form. So you can play with the rules the same way you would with any other art form, right? So he's one. Another one, which is a newer inspiration, this guy is now like giving me the heebie-jeebies, but B-Rai is crazy, bro. He he does things that no one else does in tattooing, like a lot of movement things, a lot of goofy, cool-looking things. That's more him implementing his art and his art knowledge into tattooing, that I think is very clever. Um, and I'm trying to think of who else. Oh, Michaela Botten. I don't know if that's specifically how you say her name. I always read her Instagram, and I read everything wrong. Um, but she just moved back to Italy. She used to work at SadFam. So
Oh yes, yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So if you look at Michaela's stuff, oh, and then this guy named KC Tattoos in I think Australia, because he also does opaques too, and the way he does opaques is very similar to how I do it, and it's because I've watched this stuff a bunch. But if
Mm.
you look at Michaela's stuff, she's probably one of the only Michaela and what's her name? Hi there, it's Jenny or something like that.
Hey there, Trini. Yeah.
Yeah. They use a lot of, even in color, they use a lot of skin breaks that makes the skin look like the color they intend it to. So I use a lot of those practices into the gray thing, because if it works for color, it's going to work for gray every single time. Because
Mm.
gray is one ray. At most I have 5 colors that I pour out. They got 5 colors they pour out for each color. So
What?
if it can work for those colors, right? If it can work for a red, a blue, a gray, a green, a yellow, an orange, it can work for a gray, because a gray is just a neutral color in between all those things. So I look at their work a lot to try to see what they're doing. A lot of times I'll screenshot it and grayscale it, and then see if I'm like, okay, if I was to do something like this, um, this tone that's the brightest, it goes into the same level as the skin, so I can just leave that open, and then just brush and smoothen it out like they would with their color blend, and just leave it like an open skin thing.
Would you say, like, if it's not the Edward piece, do you have like a breakout piece where like everything was like, this is it, this is how I'm going for now on, like
Maybe
stand-up
That
believe
movies?
in yourself and like
that
where you
happens ever so often for artists, whether
Mm-hmm.
people want to admit it or not. Some people think they're just chasing one tattoo their whole career, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not. Everyone has like maybe for me it's probably a mini one like every like week or two where I'm like, damn, I did everything that I wanted to do perfect. And it's not to say it's not a great or perfect tattoo in the respect of the work that I have, but there's so
Mm-hmm.
much things that go variables that go into it. The person's skin, the size of the tattoo, the content that the person
Mm-hmm.
wants you to use, if they're really picky. Like, there's just so many moving parts that even though I'm a very niche, very also picky artist with things, there's so many other things that people still have to throw at me to make it their tattoo that sometimes those things don't match what I want and I have to
Mm-hmm.
implement it because it's their tattoo, right? But there's a couple I can name maybe the last three that I remember. Um, one was a Jolene half sleeve, and it was like
feel like
here to here.
you posted it.
Yeah.
I feel like I know exactly what you're talking about. So
So
I
I
did every single one of your tattoos earlier
oh
in the day.
thank you. So
Same.
so So I tattooed that girl. She was amazing. She did not complain
Mm-hmm.
about how I had to break it up because it's an upper arm tattoo. She followed all my rules with healing. She never shows it the sun, and I am super proud of it because it was subject matter that I loved, and
JoJo.
just
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just an overall great vibe. So that rings in my head every time I think of like the first one, maybe at Mimic, that made me feel like that
Mm-hmm.
was that one. And then I think it's happened a bunch in between, but the one that happened and it was like the internet also was partaking in that feeling was I did a crocodile from One Piece. And I didn't even know who Crocodile was at that time because this yeah, I was anti One Piece
Oh.
for the
Okay,
longest.
I can't even be mad. Me too.
I watched One Piece. I watched One Piece up until like right before Crap on Toonami.
Mm.
Okay, it was gas.
Really? Within with the rings and the cigar.
That's the first piece that got over 1,000 likes from me.
Ooh.
Yeah,
It's
too
probably
cool right now.
yeah. It's like 2,000 something. That's probably the most liked thing outside of the collab I had with Donnie. There's a couple collabs I got with Donnie, but
Mm-hmm.
he's had like a bigger following, so that makes sense, right? But for
Mm-hmm.
me, that I didn't even have at that time of doing that tattoo. I didn't even have like 7,000 followers yet. So I was really confused when I was watching this thing blow up. But the girl who got it done after it was just finished healing, she went to a One Piece card game con and
Oh,
was
that's right.
fucking and was
Forgot that was a
fucking
card game.
going. She was flexing, bro. She came back and let me know right away. She was like, "I've been showing everybody this shit." She was like, "Next time I come back, you better have cards. You better have everything
You better
because I
square
was
up.
blasting shit." Yeah, and she's amazing. She ended up also getting the Doflamingo right next to it that I did.
No. Yep.
And she's like a goated client. Amazing, 10 out of 10 experience every single time. Sits like a rock. But I always put my all into every tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, sometimes as an artist, there's other variables that get in the way of you putting 100% like a SS plus job.
Mm-hmm.
But I like to shoot for at least a 90 every time I tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
And 90 is me doing everything I can. The other 10% is the other variables that I can't help.
Mm.
So as long as you're putting in your 90, you feel like I did everything I can. And the
For sure.
10% is
For sure. For sure. Give me like 2 seconds, fellas.
here we go.
Really quick.
Yo,
Gotcha.
so much EK lore.
Yo, like
Um,
literally so much lore.
so much lore. Hey, if you made it this deep, make sure to smash that subscribe button.
Facts.
We
Yo,
do have
hit that HBO special.
Alright,
Yeah.
what's that? What's
Yo,
that
that
HBO
HBO
special?
special. Hit that motherfucking like button.
better help a brother out with a light. You feel
Y'all
me?
gotta get the YouTube voice down when people be
Yeah,
asking for subscriptions.
bro. Yo,
Yeah, I can't do that shit, man. They sound like auction house people.
yo, back in our prime when we had we were running a YouTube channel. Yo, we had every time One Piece would go to the to the halfway card, we would just spitball. So it'd be like, yo, just how like Zoro just cut that black guy. You need to do this. Hit the HBO special. You need to hit that
Yeah.
HBO special. Just
Yo,
completely like
we got real integrated with it.
like
Like we don't even talk about it. Just be like, yo, Isaac, this shit, you know what DK School had remind me of? The HBO special. I love the HBO special. We got
What about
it.
that HBO special?
yo.
That's that helping out with the like, you feel me? That HBO.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have a
Bro.
question I wanted to ask. It's from Darius. Darius is one of my favorite guys. He asked, has there been a character that you've been dying to do, but you haven't got the opportunity to do? And if you did have the opportunity, you jump on it ASAP.
That's hard because I actually get to do a bunch of stuff that I like to do. My clients are so nice. I can just be like, yo, man, and maybe it's me selling it, but I just be like, yeah,
Mhm.
man, I really want to do XYZ, and someone pops up and they do it. But
Mhm.
of like, so I'll go a couple. I'll do two OGs and two new
Okay.
things I want to do. So
Mhm.
OGs, there's not a single person that has gotten uh Great Saiyan Man 1 and 2 for me, which is Gohan and
Oh, the
Videl.
Gohan.
I wanna do that so bad, mainly
So
for
you want it
Videl.
on the record. You want to say it on the record, like, yo, somebody lock me in for
Yeah,
that legend.
word. I want to do all the trash DBZ characters that nobody actually loves. I want to do Doctors. I want to do Doctor Gero.
Raditz.
I want
Yeah,
to tattoo Raditz. I want to tattoo fucking
holy face.
Chaozu.
Ginyu
I want to
Force.
tattoo not even just Genu, bro. Jace specifically.
Yo,
Jace and Berta.
yo, the fastest in
I
the
want to
universe.
right, and Raccoon. I like Raccoon too, but I would probably do Raccoon when he's blown up and stuff, and he got like all the holes in his
Buck
shit.
ass naked.
Yeah, word. But I just I not iconic DBZ characters that everybody usually gets, but like I love DBZ so much. I love all
Mhm.
the like side characters. I want to tattoo Goku and Piccolo from the Driver's Ed episode.
Yeah.
Uh, I want to like shit like that. So that's
I just
so I'll
imagine
clump
that.
that all into I'll clump all that into one. And then I would say probably Yuma from World Trigger.
Mm. The
Yeah,
protagonist, right? Is that the protagonist?
yeah, yeah. Kugayuma or Chica from World Trigger, the girl
Mm.
with the sniper.
Mhm.
Mm.
Um, so those are like more older OG stuff. Out of the newer stuff, I that's hard because I just booked a bunch of stuff that's like newer that I love. Like Brutus, I'm getting to tattoo him in a few weeks. Yeah,
Yo, I haven't seen
so
no
that
jobless tattoos, yo.
listen.
Ah,
Hopefully you don't see any until I drop one because I,
First
I'm
one
I'm
in that.
finna go crazy with that. But I
yo,
also wanna do. Did you guys check out the Elusive Samurai,
it's
Oh
on the
bro?
yeah.
list. We need the stars to align.
Yes. These
It's
on the
two
list.
two
I just
two
have
episodes, bro. Give me 40 minutes today. Just watch it. Two
We
episodes.
want to watch it with
I
our
have to go
dad.
back to the house. So
That's cool. I'll let you
Yeah,
have that.
I just
I'll
when
let
did
you have
Dad get
that.
home?
yeah. I'll let you know when dad gets home.
So
So
we are
We
watching
are gonna
JoJo.
watch it.
We actually
yeah.
just started watching JoJo yet. The mask guy, the guy, we just packed him
Oh
up.
yeah,
So
Jojo.
yeah.
He just fought Savento.
Oh, that's it. You said the pillar guy. We just packed it up, and you made me think I was. We said okay. I'm gonna stop.
Yeah.
I almost just swearing myself. I almost just
That's all right. I'm just letting you
Yeah.
knock out, bro. You gonna have a good time for it fairly soon.
Hey, Jojo's
he was
over
a
Um,
here.
problem though. He was a
you said what?
problem. I thought that color guy was a problem. I thought Hamon
Savento,
didn't
yeah.
work. until he big brain. He let him absorb him. Then he dug it from the inside. I was like, oh, this thing is kind of smart. This guy kind of stupid and goofy, but this thing is kind of smart. You feel me?
Yeah, when he popped out of the cause which one you talking about?
It's the
So,
first Pillar Man, Savento, when you meet Stroheim
yeah,
and stuff like
when
that.
he came out of the vent, right?
Yeah, the vent.
Okay, when he started peeling his whole bone structure back and
Mhm.
sliding through that vent, bro, I was losing my mind. I was very confused. I was very confused.
It's been so long since I watched JoJo, and I was watching. I was like, bro, his rib cage. Oh shit. Oh,
Bro.
not his
What
leg.
And then,
what really got me is when nigga was like, yo, pass me the axe. And nigga cut off his leg. And then he gets thing. He opens and like, yo, we got him. This nigga jumped in his
In his leg.
bro, he was not playing. That motherfucker was survive. First of all, when he popped up and they first was, and I think Joseph probably hit him with Hamon or something. I haven't seen it in a little bit, so I forgot what made him do it. But he was like going crazy, and then he just stopped and was like,
Just lock. He had the
Bro.
locket thing.
I said
Bro, it's
Vino
literally-
or whatever your name is.
It's kind of like rewatching it for the first time because it's been a minute. I haven't watched JoJo since like 11th grade, maybe. So I'm like senior in college now, so it's been a minute.
Yeah,
I'm an unk now.
JoJo's every time you watch it, you'll feel like it's the first time watching. Honestly, because you'll even if you're like into it and you're calling out everything that's happening.
This is
that
my first
serotonin
rewatch.
you feel. Yeah, that serotonin you feel from shit happening so fast. You're like, damn, this shit is crazy.
What I'm hoping for on the rewatch, I didn't like JoJo's Part 3, the first part, before they got to Egypt. Like, in my ratings, I have JoJo like Part 1 an 8, Part 2 a 10, the first part of Part 3, I had a 7. I was like, man, I was not feeling it. Then I got to Egypt. I was like, ooh.
So
yeah.
I can tell you why. 10 out of 10. And it's not even the whole thing of the first part. It's the second half of the first part of Part 3. You start to feel the Scooby-Doo effect, where it's like the next stand user of the week.
Yeah, the stand user of the week.
And you're just like, all right, same kind of fight, same kind of thing. But then they get to Egypt and they like, all right, story time,
Egypt
guys.
was so good.
Yeah.
Like starting off with the gambling and stuff like that, I was like,
You said,
yeah,
Part 3.
Part 3
so,
has.
You might get blinded by the stand effect because of how much I know you like people punching and kicking on each other. So you more than likely will be like, Part 3 is the best.
Yeah,
because
they literally
it's the first time in JoJo's you see it's different kind of boxing, bro. Like shonen level boxing. JoJo before that was like they boxing, but it's like and it's like story stuff happening and then boxing. Jotaro part is every single episode somebody getting punched down, bro. Somebody getting punched down. And the first ass whooping you see, you gonna feel like, and to me that's the worst. The first, the one that Kakuin had, that motherfucker grabbed him by his neck like this, and then he said,
"You hit it, yo!" It was like the.
Hey, bro, what he articulated each finger, squeezed the shit out of that shit, and was fucking. And not only that, he grabbed him first and was wringing his neck first, and all you see is his head like this, like the whole, and all he's like, ooh, he's shaking his shit out of him, bro. Jotaro is a person like you'll see him and you be like, yeah, this is the most OP character in anime history, and he is.
I don't think history, but. And like,
who more OP than Jotaro, bro? I play Jump Force. Let me tell you, there's nobody who can beat that motherfucker if they within 2 meters of him.
Giorno.
Nobody. Giorno can't beat him, bro. He can stop time.
Requiem.
Okay, Requiem shouldn't even be an action.
Requiem is broken as hell, bro.
Requiem is broken, but I honestly feel like it's that shouldn't count. We should count stand to stand.
Okay,
you can't count Requiem.
Do you think how would time skip work with against time stop? What's it called?
I don't even think it's time stop. I think it's like time loop.
Like what's it called? Part 5, Emperor Crimson. Like, how do you think that fight would go? Crimson versus Star Platinum.
Ain't it King Crimson? Or
King
maybe
Crimson.
that's the
Well, the
yeah.
manga is Emperor Crimson, and then the
Yeah, of course,
yeah
of
yeah
course,
yeah
of
yeah
course, of course, of course.
yeah.
I think Jotaro is tanking him. He got to activate it. Jotaro is going to activate the world first. He got 7 seconds to put hands and feet on him before anything happened, and Jotaro will.
True. Do you think he could counter it with like being able to see the future and cut it? Like, because he could see the future before, then use the ability cut time to skip it. Would he be able to see? Oh, time got stopped. Let me dip the
Bro,
fuck out.
Giorno was putting hands and feet on him with just butterflies and ladybugs, bro. And then he got Requiem because he was like, I gotta turn up and whip his ass.
See, what about Nerf Jotaro? Like after he goes to his marine biologist phase, he got only 2 seconds and shit. Do you think then he would lose to King Crimson? I think he would. I think he would lose to King Crimson like part 6 beginning Jotaro. I think so.
I don't think so. Only way Jotaro getting beat is if Jotaro gets sidetracked. And him facing King Crimson, there's nothing making him have to protect anybody. The 2 times that you've seen Jotaro vulnerable is when he was oh, that's wild. Is when he was the 2 times you've seen him vulnerable is when he had to protect Josuke and his friends, and when he had to protect
the rat episode,
and then when he had to protect Jolene
and also Koichi
and Koichi, yeah. But that's why I said Josuke and friends, right? That's why when you see Jotaro have to stop turning up because he gotta focus on somebody else. It's the perfect character flaw. Superman, Goku, they become stupid in those situations. Jotaro though is half stupid. He's only stupid for family because he feel like he need to. That's Dio's son, bro. He ain't got nothing to do with he ain't got protecting him. That's Dio's son. All right. So he's beating King Crimson ass. He ain't gotta protect what's his name, bro. He gonna wait until Giorno, about to kick the bucket. So on. All right, my 2 seconds. I'm punching precision straight through your heart, bro.
True. See, but I'm saying like I think King Crimson could beat the Nerf, the 2 second one. If it's like prime Jotaro, I think Jotaro would win. Like
he's smart though. That's the thing.
Jotaro's smart as hell.
Jotaro's power ain't really his stand because his stand is precision and then the time skip thing, which I don't know.
It's kind of broken.
Yeah, because of how they explain it. But that's like, yeah, you're right. It's broken. Star Platinum's probably still the best.
Star Platinum is pretty broken. I think it's probably the strongest stand.
He's still the best. Yeah, he's still the best.
I'll just say the strongest stand would be the hand if the user wasn't just
stupid.
That's the Nerf.
That motherfucker.
That's how you balance it out.
Yes, that motherfucker can fly, bro.
Bro, the handle. If anything with his right hand, he can erase.
We can't tell you none of this stuff. It would ruin the surprise effect when you see it. We can't. Stands is something we are not allowed to talk to you about.
Okay.
Except for Jotaro, because Jotaro stand, we can tell you what it is, but you still won't technically kind of know what it is. You'll be like, how is that possible? And you'll still be into it. But Zahan, just know he's a dumbass, and he got the most OP stand possible. The only reason he's not
good balancing.
The only reason IQ. He's not wrecking people is because of IQ, bro. And and he openly says it. He said, "I may be a dumbass, but I can still throw these hands if it really come down to."
I wanted to ask to you, Peg, here from a little birdie that you're involved in a printing effect. I don't know if you wanted to save that for the real life link up that's August 8th, 9th, one of those days.
Yeah.
If you wanted to save that, or if you wanted to spill just a little bit of the tea, just a little bit, nothing crazy. It's up to you. I'll leave it up to you, Big Butt.
I mean, I guess it really doesn't matter at this point. I think a lot of people already kind of know. But this year I will be okay.
Sorry to call out.
Nope, all good.
I feel like me and Isaac live we spend the ungodly amount of time on Instagram. We had no clue. I feel like we're okay to leave that and like not to the upper echelon, but like I feel like if we didn't know, I feel like a lot of people probably don't know, to be honest. So
That's
this
probably
is
true.
breaking news. This is,
That's
yeah, this is breaking news. So the floor is yours.
that's probably true. When I say people, I always reference like my surroundings. I'm stupid and and from under a rock. So y'all gotta understand when I'm like, yeah, everyone knows. As long as everyone who I can see knows, then I think everyone knows. But yeah, so this year I'll be helping out with Anime Inc. a bunch. Um, so me and Bunny Machine, her name's Kim for anyone who doesn't know that, but I call her Bunny. She wants everyone to call her Kim, but for me, everyone watching, call her Bunny. Me and Bunny became really cool friends, and I just shot her a couple ideas that I think would really help the experience of the show. She loved it and was like, "Hey, I really want you to be part of it." So we've been kind of in cahoots. Me, her, Christian, and his team, just kind of putting some new things together and trying to, feel out what the community wants and what people who are attending. Not only just artists, obviously, because I know it's a tattoo convention still, but we're trying to lean more into the anime niche, right? Because we all wanna lean hard into that, and I think touching the hearts of clients and the community rather than just the artists, I think is equally as important, if not more important. So we're trying to implement a bunch of new things. Um, One of the biggest things I'm most excited for is some of the contest changes that are happening. It's it's confirmed, so I can say it. But we're gonna be one of the first conventions to do a melanated skin contest or a dark skin contest. Obviously, we all here in this group in this room are affected by that, but I think it's cool to highlight what can potentially be done on dark skin differently than just tattoos in general. It's not a limitation. It's just a different step you need to take. And I think more people need to be aware of that. And we're just trying to bring that forth within that. A lot of new cosplay stuff, a lot of like video game tournament stuff that we're working on. Some stuff that I don't know if I can name yet. So I'm just gonna keep it at that. But yeah, but there's we'll be having a bunch of announcements come out fairly soon. They're working on the website and getting that all together. But as we come closer to time, we're gonna start steamrolling a lot of content out to kind of raise awareness of all the changes that we're gonna be having. I'm actually going to DreamCon next week. Is it next week?
I think
Dream,
it's
when,
Yeah.
when's
I
DreamCon?
think it's next week. I think it's like
It's
the
like the
27th.
25th or something. 25th to 27th to like 29th or something like that. But we're gonna try to connect with some people there and see if they're interested on swinging our way and collabing on some stuff. Just because I want to try to pull more community together. So I've been working my ass off on a bunch of stuff. Um, so yeah, that's the bulk of it.
Ooh, crazy drop.
Yeah,
Big things.
Yeah,
trying.
doing it. I was also curious, like, what is your vision for the con? Like, you are such a creative, like, thinker, and like, I'm very curious. What does the Ultimate Anime Inc. look like for you?
I want for everyone that's in there to feel like they can be in the prime of their nerdiness and still like party, right? So like I've been to a bunch of tattoo conventions and most times it's just people walking around, they're like staring at people tattooing, and if they're not getting tattooed, they're like, okay, well there's nothing for me to do. Most tattoo conventions are for just the tattooers to show off themselves. Um if it was my perfect world, we would still have that, which we do, right? But we would build the experience within the community so that if you're not partaking in the tattoo part, you still want to come. You still want to watch those things happen. You still want to watch the contest. You still want to participate in all the extracurriculars we have. just to be there and be part of the vibe. I want it to be so lively that everyone leaves like praising how good of a time they're having, which we usually have that happen anyway, right? Like I always have the time of my life at Anime. But as time moves forward, and the show gets older, there's more innovation that needs to happen to bring more people in to enjoy it. And the bigger we have it, the more of a party it feels like. So that's my perfect world, what I want.
Ooh, and Darius, he's watching live right now. He's at DreamCon too. So he said he's gonna say what's up.
Oh,
Hey, yeah, link up.
He's cool. I really
Definitely.
like him. He's
Definitely,
he's
definitely.
in my top three, like all Instagram friends. I can't even all of you.
no, he's
Yeah.
Upon in at Anime Inc. too.
Sick.
My last question, B.E. Palace. Advice. If you were looking over old DK's shoulder, going from Florida, with getting told like, "Yo, this isn't it." Like, do you have like a something that you would tell him?
Just no. Just reassurance. Like more so I would just tell myself like, yeah, man, you're doing the right thing. Just keep going. Because even though I do feel like there's some mishaps or maybe mistakes that I've made in my career, or maybe things that I didn't want to endure. But if I didn't endure those things, other doors wouldn't open. If I didn't experience those things, other things wouldn't happen. So I personally feel like I'm in a good spot, so I wouldn't take away anything. I would probably just the times that I did question myself, probably be like, "Hey, don't question yourself. You're good. You got it." But other than that, probably not. I wouldn't change anything.
But anybody what you want to shout out?
Oh yeah, definitely. Shout out Bunny, Bun, Auntie Bun, whatever you want to call her. She's the greatest. All the things that I'm doing right now, I would not be able to do without her. She's the mother. she's the mother of anime tattoos. And she helps me out a bunch. So shout out to her. Shout out to my boy Pablo. Mentioned him earlier. He's a great dude. Needs more love. And just anybody who's trying to do the same thing as me, whether it's in style, whether it's tattooing, whether it's tattooing anime, whether it's just being yourself and being a nerd, just shout out to you for doing it. Keep on doing it. Don't let anyone tell you that you shouldn't be, doing what you want to do in your life because it's yours. You got to do what makes you happy.
Amen. Amen. And make sure you're following DK on Instagram at DK Gray Senpai. I have that right, man?
Yes, sir.
Gray.
Gray with an E, not an A. That makes a
Yes.
difference.
That part.
Yeah.
That part. 100%.
A lot of people don't know you spell Gray two different ways, which I think is also stupid.
Isn't the people who lost the war were like put A? Is that the difference? I
don't know, man. English is wild. I just don't even ask questions. Like I spell this both ways and it means the same shit. All right, cool, whatever.
Apparently, Gray.
My
is
man
more
just looked
for
it up.
American.
Really?
American.
Why? Or
Gray
A?
with an E or A?
No, Gray with a GRA is more in American English, and Gray with a GREY is British English. Apparently.
What? Yo,
that makes sense.
Fun, bro. What?
That makes sense.
On the site, I have Gray as EY. I don't know. I have a list of E.
Well, I mean, if you speak in real English, you go with Britain. Don't choose what we speak over here. This shit don't make sense.
Fucking American.
Yo,
we speak American, bro. not English.
Yo, with that being said, thank you for tuning into the Anime Tattoo Podcast. If you made it this far, comment for pics, and I'll send you some free merch. Love you. Peace. Make sure to follow Lee Bay at EK Bray Senpai, and if you're in North Carolina, yo, book this guy. Book this guy in Paris.
Also, I like that. But also follow Anime Inc. Con, and keep a lookout for all the things that we got coming, because we're gonna be making some announcements and stuff. Pretty cool stuff coming out. So, yeah.
Just let do that, nerd man. We love you. Peace.